Hi, my name is Marissa. This is Mkissa Creations here on Flosstube and on Instagram. Flosstube is our little corner of YouTube where we talk about cross stitch, and I've got some cross stitch to show you today. Today is Flosstube number 60, so welcome if you are new and welcome back if you are joining me for the whateverth time. It seems like a little silly to be showing off my little crafts while the world is a little chaotic. Here up in Maine, we've kind of are at a sort of tipping point, so it's been a little bit chaotic, but we are hanging in there, and we're just seeing neighbors help neighbors, which has been really lovely, and I'm just gonna stick with the good for now. We had a major snowstorm like a good chunk of the country did this past week, which made for some awesome stitchy time. I got some progress in on my snow day project, and I got a big finish that I had kind of been focusing on. So I'm going to show you that today. I touched 6 of my WIPs. One of them is now chucked off that WIP list, which I am super excited about, and I've got some good stitching to show you. We did here in southern coastal Maine get about 2 feet of snow over the day and a half that it snowed. The weather apps were telling us that it was not snowing while it was clearly snowing outside, though. I really don't think it stopped snowing for 24 hours at the very least. We saw a lot of snow. There's some awesome snowmen in our neighborhood, and it was light fluffy stuff here. We did not have to deal with ice, which I am grateful for, although whatever storm is headed our way, perhaps this weekend could be a little bit more yucky, as it's a nor'easter, and that usually comes with a good chunk of wind, which ends up being unfun in the power department. I do have a fun little mini stitch retreat to look forward to, so Friday evening and Saturday all day I will be traveling about an hour away to go stitch with some of my awesome stitching local friends, a lot of floss tubers in that mix, which is always really exciting. Although I will say, for a bunch of people that show off their crafty stuff, we are pretty dang horrible as a group about taking pictures and video of our stitching togetherness. I think all of us are pretty good at living in the moment, although this time I am making it my goal to maybe take a couple little pictures and video snippets so I can show you what we get up to when we are all together. All right, I think 3 minutes in is good for a little intro, and now we'll get into the stitching. I stitch on a variety of projects. I'm kind of all over the place if you haven't been here before. I stitch spooky, I stitch full coverage, I stitch prim, I stitch seasonal. So it really just depends on what hits me. If I like it, I like it, and I stitch it. I don't tend to stick with a specific style. I also do design in a small way right now. I have 2 little girls, so my time is not always dedicated to that, but hopefully in the future. A couple of my designs sitting right here on these 2, and then I've got some stitchy gifts from friends. As you can see, like, there's some spooky up there. That's a Haunted Mansion piece from Pedal Pusher, and then I've got a blue-bowed goose that my husband's great aunt had stitched. So that one's got my little vintage flair sitting there. And above that, I've got another one of my designs and Ink Circles 99. Across the room, I have some Lola Crow. I have the Deadly Aquarium. I've got a Star Wars stitch. So I really run the gambit. But what I finished was the Cryptid SAL. So we're in a little bit of Spookyville, I guess, with that one. And I stitched, I'll pop in a picture of what this looked like at my WIP parade. I did show it to you in my last video with an additional, with the Kraken added, and I still needed 3 more cryptids to stitch, but I stitched them and they are done. So here is the Cryptid SAL as a whole. So I am super pumped on this one. This has been stitched at quite a few stitching retreats. I know I brought it to Library Stitchers my first year going there, and I think I've stitched on it at our little mini retreat like the one that I'm going to now. I've stitched additional Bigfoot and a Mothman for my friend Tina that I made into smalls for her as little swap gifts. So I really have made this project worth its while, but I absolutely love this. It is on a 32 count Christmas Gold from Colour Cotten that came in her Christmas box that she put out quite a few years ago now. This was started in 2021, I believe. This was with the Witchy Stitcher SAL for that year. I used all the called for floss, and the only change that I made was Nessie's name. It was charted as Loch Ness, I think, but I just changed it to Nessie. So I made that little adjustment right there, but other than that, stitched as called for. Got some border issues. There was a part of the fabric that I really wanted to make sure got into this stitch, so I kind of had moved it over. So framing, Marissa might have a little bit of a struggle. And then I added my initials and the date into the bottom right here. So I will remember when I finish that. I am often not great about adding my initials in, but it seemed like there was a good spot for it right here and it made sense. So I thought about putting it up in here, but it's not part of the design. It's an add-on, but it still won't like affect framing borders with where it is. It's still in line with the bottom of the piece with this little swirly-do right here. So that is the Cryptid SAL, and that is my big finish. And that is knocked off my WIP list, and that was a goal I had set in my WIP parade, so I am pretty pumped on that. It's nice to knock one of those big ones off in the first month of the year and just know that I accomplished that goal. All right, and then next was another one of my goal pieces I stitched on, and that is Consider the Lilies. And if you've watched my last couple of videos, you know that I committed to Rebecca of Back Stitches Everything that I would finish this with her this year. I remember my little clippies today, so we're not going to deal with the slidey on the board. Let's see. So I'm really bad about taking like the last time I showed you this pictures, but I do have my WIP parade picture that I can put up, but I worked primarily over here and I got this big vase put in. I may have stitched up a little bit more green right here as well, because I know I had picked up that color for that. But that vase and flower was a big piece, so it definitely took up a good chunk. I am officially over the 75% mark. While I don't have this in Pattern Keeper and cannot do like the actual calculation of how many stitches I have left, I folded it into quarters and I'm definitely within like the final quarter of the piece. So I am over 75% on this. Here is the whole thing. And this is stitched on a, it's actually 37 count, I believe, when I measured it. It's a piece of it's almost like a polyester. It's very silky and slippery. You can see kind of the drape on it. It looks like a linen, very much like an even weave linen, but not in like a Lugana-ish style. I am stitching it with the called for flosses, 1/2, the called for fancy floss. I bought this as soon as it came out at market, and it is one of my goals to finish this year, and I am well on my way. So I had already put in, that was my symbol of commitment, was putting in 2026 and my initials. So I just need to work on this portion right here, and I don't imagine that this will be getting put away anytime soon. I think I'm gonna keep working on it a little bit every 2 weeks until it's finished. I'm probably gonna bring it to our little stitchy meetup. I have stitched on it in large groups before. I haven't had to frog too much from that. I am very nervous because I'm getting towards that portion of finishing a big piece like this with a big border that it will match up. So I'm thinking that the next time I take it out, I might just try to squash the anxiety of that and finish stitching the border up. And then hopefully, I feel like that will be really motivating to put in the work and just knock this one out. I forgot a stitch again. Gosh darn it. Hang tight. Well, I'm gonna hang for like 2 seconds. I had forgotten to grab my carpool stitch because it goes with me everywhere, so it's always kind of like by the front door, making sure that I always have it, because always bring cross stitch, rule number 1. It lives in a WIP from Steph, the New England stitcher. I bought this at Stitch Maine last year, which is a 1-day retreat put on by the Daily Stitcher. I think we're gonna hear that announcement come pretty soon. It's usually in June or July. It's a summer little main event that we do. And my carpool project is Nevermore from Satsuma Street. This is going to be a gift for my sister, and then I will probably stitch it again for myself because I love it so much. And let's see. We didn't bring my little board today. I only brought my big one, which I guess was a bad idea because I don't really have anything to show this on. But I've put in a good chunk of progress. I filled in the eyes on the skull. I worked almost all the way up to the top of the raven. I lost my black somewhere in the car. Started adding some of the 37.99. That's like the big color in the eyes, and there's some accents on the raven for that as well. So getting closer on that one. It is a perfect carpool stitch because I can see it no matter what the lighting is like, because we obviously turn our cars off, which is like a whole new ball game in Maine, like turning your car off when it is 15 degrees, but it's, you know, can't just let the car run. It's not amazing for the environment, although sometimes it gets a little chilly. Okay, so Nevermore, working on that, and then what did I pick up? What Lies Beneath. This is, I'll put up a picture of the artwork right here. It is by David Lozeau. It's charted by Unconventional X Stitch, and I will show you where this was the last time you saw it, which was in my WIP parade. I added 1,946 stitches over 3 days, and I am at 6.65%. And this is what that's looking like. So definitely getting some of the skulls really filled in here and moving right along. I am really close to a page finish on this, but I'm missing a floss color that I didn't realize I was missing. So I need to go pick that up. So I will, the next time I pick this up, we'll definitely have a page finish because it's just like a couple little stitches on the tippy top of one of the skulls. And yeah, I absolutely love stitching on this chart. It's a lot of blues, but they look lovely. I am stitching this on a 27 count Linda 1/1 full cross, and it is a tall skinny piece. The width of it will fit in this Q-snap. This is I'm past the I got myself past the halfway mark on the bottom. So this will just kind of stay in here. I'm starting, you can see this little triangle right here is like the top, there's an anchor in the water right here. And so I can start to see the little top of the anchor, which is really exciting. And I just love stitching full coverage with my like weird, it's not cross country because like I don't, it's not even cross country within a page because I'll go over pages, I'll go over blocks, but I will just kind of stitch a strand until it runs out. Sometimes I even stick with the same color if there's more in that area that I want to get to, and continue to, you know, work that color in and not switch colors. It seems to be a good time saver and keeps one color on my needle for a while. Or I might get bored, or I might say, you know what, I can't comfortably count in a direction far enough, or I would like to leave some more checks and balances for myself, and so I'll switch floss for that reason, and then I will, you know, work that color and see where I can get to where I feel comfortable with it. But in doing that, you get stuff like this, where it's like all of a sudden, like the next time I stitch this anchor is going to start looking real cool. It's really going to start showing. But even just being able to kind of see that, I can see where like the line of it down here is, it just, that is my favorite. That is my favorite. I really like full coverage for that reason. Just like the really seeing things kind of come to life. All right, then we had snow. Snow. So I picked up my Snow Day project, which is my oldest WIP, which is Shores of Hawkrun Hollow. I do not have a goal of finishing this year. It is large and some of the blocks are a lot. It would be nice, but it would also probably mean that we had a lot of snow, which I don't know if I'm super pumped for. I'm going to show you where this was because I didn't take a picture of it when I was doing it last time, but I have the picture from where it was at my WIP parade at the beginning of the year, and here it is now. So I finished this block. I finished it. It looks so good. There is one extra stitch in there somewhere. I'm not telling you where it is. But I will say this guy on this fabric with 1/1 with white, where it's not as contrasty, was rough. It was so rough. This is 40 count doubloon from Picture This Plus. I don't typically have trouble stitching on it, but I pulled out and restitched a lot. I was missing holes. It was borderline frustrating. So I am really glad to have that block completed. I am moving on to the next one. And the next one should go fairly quickly. I imagine that I will get that done within the next month. Perhaps in the next 2 weeks, depending. I will also bring this one with me. I am quite focused on a few projects right now, and they seem to be keeping my attention. Although plans are made to be broken, and so we will see. But it's feeling really good to get a lot of stitches into some of these larger projects that I have that have just been kind of dwindling on my WIP list, and it's time to get them done and on the wall and framed. So also questing for a frame for that Cryptid SAL. I may go art to frame on that one and try to, because I might need to order something that I know I can frame into because it is so close on some of the borders. This one is going to be the same. I started it really close to the edge, and then I'm also kind of noticing that this is not super straight. So I don't know if it is because of the pull and ironing and pulling on the Q-snap, or if it actually is crooked. But you know, that's only maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of border there. So I'm gonna have some tricky framing in my future, but that's okay. It's so pretty. There's all I have done on that. I started kind of working on, I got the border done that was closest to this, still worked on that. So I will continue with Shores of Hawkrun Hollow and keep moving in that direction. And that goes straight back into the Q-snap after we're done filming so that it's ready to go whenever I decide to pick it up. And then next I picked up another full coverage. So while I was waiting for the snow to come, because I was like, well, once the snow comes, I will work on Shores of Hakron Hollow. But I wanted to get something else into the mix, and I had really enjoyed my stitching on What Lies Beneath, and so I picked up my other Unconventional X Stitch, which is Cauldron of Myrr. The artwork is by Ivy Dolamore. I'll put a picture of it here. It is retired, and I don't know if anyone might be picking her artwork back up for cross stitch, but I absolutely love this piece. A purple-haired mermaid witch with her black cat just brings me all the happy. So for this one, I only stitched on it for one day, part of the day, but I got some work in. I stitched 616 stitches. It is now at 5.41%, and I got a page finish on it, which is super exciting. I did make myself a goal that I wanted to, I think, finish. It was like between 6 and 10 pages this year for full coverage. So I've got one done right here. I am close on What Lies Beneath, and probably Tiki Beach Sunset. I would say like maybe 2 more sessions will give me a page finish on that. But here's where this was last time you saw it in my WIP parade. And here it is with 616 more stitches added, which, I don't know, maybe might not seem like a lot. This is one right now where, oh, it's like the lighting is mad. So I'm gonna pull this back down because I think when I have that on there, it blocks it. So it kind of looks blobby. I don't know if it looks blobby to you, but it looks blobby to me who holds it up to my face. But there are some Monstera leaves that are like really visible when you look back at it as a whole. When you've got your face smashed up in it, it's just blobby color. But I can really start to see some of these Monsteras coming to life, and I am excited to continue back up in there. So I filled in a good chunk down here and then kind of started working back up here again, and then it started snowing, and so I put it away and started on something else, or started on Shores of Hakron Hollow. But as far as, I don't know, I just really like the calm that full coverage brings. For some reason it feels like less counting, or it just, I don't know, it's just really soothing to me. Anyways, so here is where Cauldron of Myrr is, and I hope to pick that up again fairly soon and adds even more stitches into that so that we can start to see, I think like her cauldron will start to come into view, and then her tail. So I am totally pumped for how that is gonna look. And then last night I had a little inspiration. Emma from B&E Stitchery is also trying to get this done. She is trying to get it done because she doesn't want to stitch on the count that she's using for it anymore. I'm trying to get it done because I just want it off my list and I love it. And again, it needs to go on my wall. So I started working on 324. We'll put up a picture of what that looks like when it's done. It is from Works by ABC. It is 324 colors of DMC in a mixture of little motifs and 25 stitch blocks, squares. And I did 3 of the motifs and 3 of the little squares. So I added 6. So this is where that is. I think I have around 100 left to go. So I've only got 2 holes of one, or 3 holes of ones that I am missing and can't find in my stash, so I'm gonna have to go try to find those somewhere. I keep a list of the flosses that I need on my notes app on my phone, And then when I'm in Michaels, I just kind of look through and see if they have any of them. My Michaels is habitually understocked and messily stocked. So I have very much grabbed the wrong floss and just kind of trusted them, and I learned not to do that. So I've got a couple backups of flosses that I don't need, but I really, really enjoy this piece. I enjoy the colors. I am in the browns and yellows right now, which is not my favorite, but the blues and the purple part is so beautiful. And I think there's like some pinky browns down here. So we'll get there, but I think Emma's doing 5 a week as her homework. And so I figured I could put some stitches into mine too. I will be bringing this along with me because I stitched this in hand. It's very easy to see. It's on 18 count Michaels Aida, which is kind of crunchy, but like I said, I stitch it in hand. So with the amount of times I've scrunched it up and ironed it, it seems to be doing okay, and I don't mind stitching on it. I am stitching it 1/1 full cross, 3, 2, 4, looking good. All right, so that is all of the stitching I have for you. I didn't buy anything this week. I am still gearing up for my kind of build a vignette birthday sal. If you want to join, start thinking about what kind of wall or little collection you are going to add to or to start. Mine, I do have one butterfly / moth piece going already, and I am probably gonna start like 5 or 6. So I am super looking forward to that. I will put out a detailed post on that in a week or so, I think, on my Instagram. So follow me there if you're not already. I am getting super close, well, super close, pretty close to 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And I would love to do that before my birthday and my birthday sal, which is March 5th. So looking forward to that. It's always kind of a wild week because it's usually the market week, which makes it even more exciting for my birthday. So hopefully I'll pick up some birthday presents for myself. I imagine that I will be getting some of the Cross Stitch the Rainbows Beneath the Waves collection this year. The color palette is gorgeous if you have not seen it yet. I'll actually stick a picture of that in here. There are a lot of fantastic designers involved in that, and Abby Top Knot Stitcher is always the biggest cheerleader for that project. I know that there's a few other designers that are involved in the putting on of that, but she, I feel like, really just runs the show on that one. So check out her shop, or check out your favorite needlework shop. I know Crafty Girl Malkin has a pre-sale of the threads that are available, which means she's going to be carrying it, which I'm stoked on because, like, again, local needlework shops are the best needlework shops. I like to support those who are local to me, and while it takes 2 hours for me to get there, ordering from her and getting shipping from her does happen fairly quickly. So I think that is all I have for today. I really appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me. If you saw something that you like, please like and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Help me get to that 2,000 mark if you're not already a subscriber, and I will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.